Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for the Currie Cup. It is a competition that there were a couple years here in New Zealand we couldn't actually watch it, but it's back. We did a lot of it in 2022, I believe it was. I'm excited to see how this year goes. A lot of young, talented players from the under-20s making their way into these sides. We've got those 7 superstars also breaking onto these sides as well. But I'm, like I said, very excited about what will happen here. These are the standings from last year. The Griquas finishing just that little bit higher than the Pumas. Points the exact same, 24 and 24. But the Pumas, they only had those 4 wins. Same with the Griquas. They will want a few more this season. And honestly, it's a pretty strong looking lineup for both teams. New look, I think, is the best way of describing it. But looking at the head-to-heads that they did have last year, we saw that the Pumas were successful in both ventures, including the home and away contests up against this Griquas side. A lot of points normally scored, though, when these two sides go head-to-head, so I don't think there will be any difference in this competition. The Currie Cup, known for some high-scoring close games, but also some absolute onslaughts on attack too. So I'm hoping it's what we get to see. And at the opening contest, looking through at the starting lineup, that's a Bulls lineup. I don't know how that got in there, but okay, we will start with, first of all, the away side, the Griquas, while we do find the Pumas in the starting side as well. In the front row, it will be Leons alongside Lange and also Damini as the number 3. I will mention a couple of these pronunciations I'm still a little bit rough with just because it's been so long since we've been able to cover the competition on the channel, like I said. But alongside them in the locking duo, it will be Liebenberg as the number 5 with Mpofu as the number 4, Van der Vault alongside Els and also Erlang slotting in as the number 8, Abrahams alongside, it will be George Whitehead in the number 10 jersey. We're out on the left wing, Creer in the midfield alongside Swenleb, that name's got me, we're going to have to sound it out, Zwelend Daba as the number 13. Hopefully that will roll off the tongue by the end of this Currie Cup season. Mart as the number 14, and then Hofke as the number 15. So that is the starting lineup for the Griquas. Looking through at the starting lineup for the Pumas. In this one, it is Janneke alongside Swart and Swickers as the front row. Bertram and Leonard in the locked-in duo with Fasante, Damasa, and the big man Willie Engelbrecht slotting in as the number 8, Brodier alongside Versace as the 9 and 10 combo. Adonis out on the left wing, Swart and Jan Lasse in the midfield, and then Misinki, I should say, out on the right, and Swanepoel at number 15. Like I said, it's been a wee while. We're a little bit rusty. Thank you for doing this match, says Hazel. No worries at all. I did want to see how this Currie Cup this year was going to be getting on, so we are actually hoping to do all 4 matches of the first round, and of course there will be some overlaps with later stages of the competition, but I'm hoping to dabble a little bit in some Currie Cup action. Go the Pumas, says Jan Lu there. Now, well done for broadcast this game. Thank you, says Berendon there. No worries at all. And yeah, a lot of provincial rugby starting up. Of course, we have got this Currie Cup competition, the Bunnings NPC starting in New Zealand next week, which is another competition I will be keeping a very close eye on. Hi, all and Hamish says, Robert, welcome in, mate. Hope you're doing extremely well. Some strong benches for these two sides. And the exciting part is, for me anyway, there are a lot of guys who are taken to the field that I have actually never seen play before. Like I said, the Currie Cup, they didn't want to show it here in New Zealand. Sadly, Sky did lose the licensing. They've got it back now. And I feel like we're going to try and make up for lost time because it's been an extremely entertaining comp. Like we showed in terms of the top 3, you know, the Lions were sitting number 1. The Sharks were in 3rd, and then that final last year was an absolutely extraordinary one. I believe they actually did show that here in New Zealand, or at least I did watch it. Of course, that last minute mind blank, you could call it, from the Lions to give the ball back to the Sharks. End up losing that game by the 2 points. But, like I said, these benches, they will be dangerous, and they'll be certainly ones keep an eye on. We have got there how you Hamish says Mahadino. I'm excited. A lot of rugby taking place this weekend. Maybe not as much as some do anticipate in terms of the other weeks that we've had leading up to this round, but I think it's still going to be exciting. Like I said, the start of the Currie Cup, we've got 4 games in that regard. And then also the British and Irish Lions second test match. That one will be extremely vital for the Australians to win, but there's no guarantee that is what's going to happen to Springboks versus Japan. What games are tomorrow? So Springboks versus Japan is not taking place until early November. So we're still a wee way away from that. But yeah, tomorrow we get 3 games of the Currie Cup, 2 games, and then the day after another Currie Cup match. And then also the British and Irish Lions versus Australia for the second test. Evening, Hamish. Hope you're doing well. It's going to be stupid early for you. It is. It's currently 4:50 a.m. I have not slept as of yet. Potentially should have, but I decided to do the all-nighter for this contest. Of course, we will be doing an all-nighter tomorrow night as well for the British and Irish Lions alongside the 2 other matches of the Currie Cup, which does include the Lions taking on the Sharks and then also the Western Province. They'll be going head-to-head with the Bulls. That should be a very intriguing contest when they do go head-to-head. But, of course, do let me know who you think will be winning this game. The Pumas come in as quite a heavy favourite in this matchup, understandably so. Their side, a little bit more experience. The big man, Willie Engelbrecht, and that loose forward trio slotting in as well. But these are the upcoming games that are taking place of the competition, not including this round where we do also see Boland taking on the Cheetahs. But first game next week, it will be the 5 a.m. kickoff of the Free State Cheetahs up against the Pumas. Then the Lions taking on the Western Province. Blue Bulls versus the Sharks, once again, will be a very good one to watch. And then the Griquas to close out the weekend, going head-to-head with Boland. But this match, I would say, we're only sitting about 8 minutes away. You're an absolute madman. Go to bed, says David in there. But the opening game of the Currie Cup was going to be on, and I didn't want to miss it. I wanted to see how these 2 sides would match up. Plus, I think because they haven't been shown it in New Zealand, I got a little bit of FOMO, isn't it? Fear of missing out on this competition. So I sacrificed a night's sleep, and I think I've made the right decision. As you know, I'm hoping for an 80-point game. It probably won't be. We'll probably see about 60, somewhere around there, which is still more than enough points to have some very entertaining tries in there. A lot of pace in the back threes of these 2 teams. Of course, also having that combination of Caleb Abrahams alongside George Whitehead for the underside or underdog side of the Griquas. But yeah, I'm excited. Hopefully, high scoring. Hopefully, similar to what we saw last year. I respect the game. We got grief. You best nap during the day. Yeah, I'll have to sleep at some point. That's what they always recommend, don't they? But I don't know why, but I'm so wide awake now. And it's almost concerning. But we've got the upcoming matches for these 2 sides as well. Like I mentioned, the Cheetahs, they'll be going head-to-head with the Pumas next week. Then after that, the Pumas have got the Bulls, then the Lions, then they're on to Boland, Western Province, and the Sharks. Now, I do believe it's a shortened competition this year compared to what we saw last season, where all the sides were playing 10 matches of their group stage, including a little bit of a double header, how they'd face one side in week 1, and then about week 3 or 4, you'd have a rematch with that same team. That's not the case for this season. Also, I should mention, no Griffins for this year, as they have been taken out, and Boland Cavaliers have made their way into the comp. In terms of, that's the wrong one, I think. But what I did want to show was the upcoming games of the Griquas. And as you can see, they've got Boland as well as Western Province as their next 2 matches, which should both be very entertaining ones as well. And where should my VPN be going through to watch for free? Well, that's actually a tricky one, because I don't think it's free to air in South Africa. I know that, for us here in New Zealand, it's on Sky. So if you've got a Sky account, maybe that would be an option. Australia may have it on Stan, but I won't absolutely guarantee it. Did you have breakfast? I did way earlier on when it was breakfast time. I'm impressed, and extra respect for you taking the time to bring the game to us. Many thanks. So yeah, Mike, no worries at all. But yeah, this match only sitting around 5 minutes away from the start. And I have missed provincial rugby. You know, we've had international games taking place left, right, and centre throughout the last few weeks. We've had the URC and Super Rugby before then. But now we're into that stage of that kind of grassroots working their way up, the under-20s, the blitz box, all making their way back into the teams. In fact, Western Province have a lot of blitz box across their lineup. I see Zane Davids there, Shilton van Wyk, Kua Nokia, just to name a few. Hassim Pede, he was going to be a youngster for the Lions to watch out for, but of course getting called into Rassie Erasmus's training camp, which does mean he is not playing for the match in this weekend's fixture, but I do see that the Lions are still a very strong-looking team, similar to what we saw for the URC. Of course, Vasahi with his big mustache going to be in that forward pack as well. But we have got the coverage, ladies and gents. Mbabela Stadium will be the host of this game between the Airlink Pumas as well as the Suzuki Griquas. Round 1 of the Currie Cup. Hopefully exciting game around the corner. Of course, I don't want to jinx it, but do let me know your score predictions for this game, ladies and gentlemen. What time is the game? The game is taking place in around 4 minutes, and it does look like a few Puma supporters made their way into the stands. 19 degrees Celsius is the max. 11 degrees Celsius is the minimum. We have got there go hard on Otia, says Barracuda on Otia. I'm not sure what that is. The head coach of the Griquas, it is Peter Berg. I mentioned to see AB de Villiers 100 versus England. I did see that he got himself 100. I wasn't sure who it was up against though, but yeah, the veterans still got it. Stadium looking rather empty, but then, I mean, Mbabela Stadium is absolutely huge. Yes, thanks, I got it off Stan, says Katsanel. So it is also good to know that Stan do have it as an option for being able to watch it. And always happy seeing you, says Mohadem. Well, you're going to be seeing quite a bit of me throughout the next day or so because we are going to be doing that British and Irish Lions versus Australia fixture. Alongside that, we've got the Currie Cup games. I am hoping to do both of them. And the Griquas to win 31 points to 22. We have got there, so for those who don't know, namely myself, what is the Currie Cup? Says David, well, it is a competition that was established a very long time ago for the South African provinces. Now, I'm not too sure where the Currie side of it did come from. I think that we've had a history lesson in it before, but I think that was actually one of the last times we were doing the streams, which was 2022. But yeah, a very long running competition in South Africa where we've seen some absolutely brilliant stars be born. And hopefully we see a few more throughout this season as well. But Willie Engelbrecht, of course, that man has had quite the career already. He is the skipper of the Pumas for this matchup. Got some handy players in that back line. Clinton Swart, handy in that number 12 jersey. And just talking about Van Nijkerk as well. We have got there what streams did you have lined up this weekend, says Katzenel. So we are going to be doing the British and Irish Lions versus Australia match. And then alongside that, I do want to do the 2 matches of the Currie Cup that are taking place. The Lions versus the Sharks, as well as the Western Province versus Bulls. Just because, you know, it's the opening round. We have got there the Currie Cup is named after Sir Donald Currie, the owner of a British shipping company company who donated the trophy for the first overseas rugby tour to South Africa in 1891. There you go. And Sir Currie donated the cup, says Ernest. And there too. There's a few people in the stands for this opening contest. The trophy was originally intended to be awarded to the team that played best against the touring British side, with the understanding that it would become a floating trophy for interprovincial competition. Well, there you go. Making the way out onto the field. Quite a few debutants here for this Griquas side. And I Hamish, my super group, follow you. Every game for the bot. Yes. We have just started a Currie Cup pool. Great to have you commentating, says Craig. And yeah, the Currie Cup, one thing that I've learned from looking at the scores as well as from covering it all those years ago is it's very unpredictable. And when you start to think you know what's going to happen, then it completely throws a curveball. How many players can play in this cold is a mystery to me, crazy. Says Xander, I assume you're talking about the 11 degrees Celsius, Xander. It's not too bad temperature-wise, but then I guess it depends on where you are from and what your normal temperatures are, but it's not a bad evening in terms of the temperature. And we have got there what is the equivalent of this cup in AU or New Zealand. So for Australia, it used to be the NRC, but now that unfortunately does not exist, or at least it hasn't. I think it's had a name change or something along those lines for the provincial side for Australia. For New Zealand, it would probably be the equivalent of the Bunnings NBC. Although the Bunnings NBC, alongside that, also do have the Ranfurly Shield incorporated, which is a little bit of an extra bonus, I guess you could say, for the sides when they do get that chance to challenge for it. Hello, Hamish and everyone, says Rhea. And Subaru Group says Greg there, but Marius van der Vesterhuizen, he will be the referee in charge of this contest. And like I said, the names will be a little bit rusty. We haven't covered a game of the Currie Cup in quite some time. I think we got to cover the final last year because they randomly decided to start showing it here in New Zealand. But yeah, there'll be a few rough names in there, so do bear with me. Also, if you hear me absolutely butchering a name, do let me know how I can fix it. Because, yeah, like I said, some of these guys we've never actually heard of before. Man, Australia destroyed everything Union. Seem to not care anymore, says Katzenell. Well, hopefully they care about that second test match up against the British and Irish Lions, because if they don't, we're in a bit of trouble for Aussie rugby. But we'll be kicked off by the Griquas, going from right to left. Now, I believe my scoreboard does say it's just going to give us a full-time update, so we will have to get a scoreboard going alongside that as well, I would think, just in case. But it's going to be kicked off for the Carling Currie Cup of 2025. And already Adonis having his first carry of the contest. Gets it off to Willie Engelbrecht, and the penalty awarded to the Griquas, who have the opportunity for an early 3. But do they want it, or do you go for the corner and try and really crank it up from the get-go? We'll go like that, and like that. There we go. So that is the official update in terms of the scoreboard, because I don't think it's going to be behaving. We have got there, sorry Hamish, I missed when you see what games are on this weekend. So there is just the British and Irish Lions versus Australia in terms of international rugby. And then there is the Carling Currie Cup other matches. There's the Lions taking on the Sharks, and then the Western Province taking on the Bulls. And then also on Monday morning for us here in New Zealand, there is Boland taking on the Cheetahs. George Whitehead, first kick of the match for that man, already 1 minute into the contest. And they will soon have points on the board for this Griquas side. George Whitehead, one of those more experienced fellows for the Griquas. And he has got that one over. So 3-0 already in this contest, ladies and gentlemen. So a great start to the contest for the Griquas, who take the opportunity that has arose. We'll go like that. There we go. 3-0. Morena Kiwi lads, everyone, hi, says Spiderman. Welcome in. Hope you're doing extremely well. Hope you are excited for the Currie Cup. It's going to be kicked off now by the Pumas. Vasachi gets us back underway. Nicely claimed by the Griquas inside of their 22. Already the Pumas almost tried to get that turnover straight back in the breakdown. Whitehead, charge down kick for him. It sits up for the Pumas, and that is a counter-attack and try of beauty. And just like that, Yamlasa does score the try for the Pumas. Just like that. And like they have just said, oh no, in fact, I said the wrong fella. No, I didn't, actually. It is Yamlasa who does end up scoring it, but the charge down kicker, George Whitehead. Who are the Griquas, Hamish? Says Spider-Mix. So they are a Carling Currie Cup team. Same with the Pumas, of course, in that regard, but they aren't directly associated with any URC side, which I think is, one of the slightly confusing parts at times, because, you look at someone like a Boland, who are actually in the same region of South Africa as the Western Province are, and then, the Sharks, of course, the Natal Sharks, South Sea Sharks, or the Hollywood Beats Sharks, is now, as they're known. That kick has gone over. So they don't make the score now. 7-3 for the Pumas. So the Griquas may have scored the first try of the contest, the first points, but then firing straight back, the Pumas do get themselves a very handy try. British and Irish Lions finding heavy momentum now after that shaky start versus Argentina. I thought they're going to have a disappointing tour. They changed very quick, says Xander. I do also think that adding in those guys from Leinster made a big difference. I know that people don't like that being said, but, once they got to full strength and had a little bit more time together as a team, they did look a lot better. Now, their game up against the First Nations and Pacific XV, that was extremely close. And a weird way for that match to end with that kick into touch, or at least that kick attempted downfield, kick downfield here for the Pumas. It's now going to be the line out here for the Griquas. And also we have got there the waving and the spider from Robert. And wow, this is very electric. Wow, I'm shocked says Gatsanel. Yeah, well, that's the thing. It is very similar to what we see when it's two URC sides from South Africa going head to head. Now, these guys will be physical. They will have pace. And, 10 points already in the first 3 minutes of the game kind of tells you the type of tempo that we will see from this Currie Cup comp. But now, passing it across, Abrahams finds Whitehead. Oh, a little bit of a drop ball there, trying to fire it back. Was actually Whitehead, and this time he will kick it downfield. I saw the highlights of the British and Irish Lions game, and I have no idea what the guy was thinking. I honestly don't either. Like, people have said that maybe he thought that a 50-22 would work because maybe he thought that the ref said there was enough time left. But there was just no situation where that kick, as deep as he was trying to go, wasn't just going to be grabbed by the British and Irish Lions cover defence. Now the Griquas have this ball available. Caleb Abrahams on debut for this contest. A little bit of a rough one at the back for the Pumas to be able to clean up, but handled well by, it would have been Swanepoel, and then kicked into touch. So thank you for covering this. There's Sim Racing Journey, no worries at all. Like I said, the Currie Cup, something that didn't get shown in New Zealand for quite some time. It was actually something that we covered back in about 2022, quite a bit on the channel. Yes, that crazy kick from Pacifica still confuses me. And hey, Robert, I was the favourite in this Currie Cup season, says Eric. Well, that's the thing. It all heavily depends on who's going to be actually playing for certain sides. Like, I know that the Bulls are always looked at as a side that should do well. The Lions and the Sharks both finished top 3 in last year's Currie Cup comp. Although their sides have changed quite a bit compared to last season. As you see, the Western Province had a little bit of a lackluster year in 2024, and I think they're expected to do a lot better now. Knock on coming from the Griquas, which does bring a scrum for the Pumas. But yeah, like the Lions, the Bulls, and the Sharks, they're all expected to do quite well, although the Sharks going with a very different looking lineup for their upcoming contest. So, maybe they will start a little bit slower. A lot of guys missing from that team. And hi, Amish and everyone. Happy to see you streaming the Currie Cup, says Lilia B. Welcome in. Hope you're doing extremely well. Having a beer, Googling these two teams, seeing who they are. Says Robert, and how things, Amish, says Flesh doing very well. I hope you are excited for the British and Irish Lions match a little bit later on. Pack weights, 753 for the Griquas. It's as if they've forgotten to bring someone in that scrum weight. I don't think we've seen a side with such a light pack in quite some time. In fact, that actually makes me think they forgot to weigh someone, to be honest, because that seems a little bit too light. There's some big boys in that forward pack. The province that I am in is Mpumalanga. I played for the Craven Week under-13 Pumas team. And Griffin should be relegated. Minus 395 points difference. Fun fact, they were. They aren't here for this season. Instead, it is the Bowling Cavaliers who do end up getting that chance. Griquas was the great, or home of the great, Piet Visaki. Well, that's the thing. Like, there's been some great players from these provinces. In the Carling Currie Cup, people talk about it as that first opportunity to show what you can do. Because, you go from a Currie Cup side into the URC. Then from there, you might get that chance at international level. It's going to be an illegal scrummaging penalty going against the Griquas front row. I'm going under 70 total. So here's roll with risk. I think that's the thing. It will be somewhere around there, won't it? Because this is what the two sides had last time for last season. So they had 68 points in the first contest he did, and then they had much more in that second with 92. And we're already 8.5 minutes in. A little bit of a slower build after that first try. Hamish, you're doing the Currie Cup, says Cameron K. I will mention we won't be doing all of it, just because a lot of the later games do overlap with other competitions, but I definitely wanted to get a look in during this first round of the competition. A little bit of a rolling maul here, setting up the Pumas. Going to pass that one out the back, going away to the left-hand side, where they have got plenty of players waiting out wide for the chance of breaking through. Will be the try scorer now in their 13 jersey, Lassa. I'm back across to the right-hand side. Good attack and run from Swart, who is driven sideways. Oh, pop past to absolutely no one for Van Nijkerk, and it will mean the ball is stolen. Now the Griquas. This ball about 25 metres out from their lines. Which games are you covering tomorrow? Says Lilia B. So I am going to be doing the British and Irish Lions versus Australia match. With the second test, of course, taking place. And then I'm hoping to do both games of the Currie Cup as well in the days. India refused to play South Africa for the Davis Cup, but they could not wait to play for the Currie Cup. Says Kevin. See, I don't know if that's actually true, is it? But now, off to the left-hand side. So only 38 metres out, and it will be the penalty to the Griquas again. Good work in the breakdown. It's the captain in that number 3 jersey, Dlamini. Oh. The ref might be looking at something. We might get our first TMO of the day. We have got there, Van Nijkerk is pronounced Van Nijkerk. Says Adrian, so without so not fun like fun to murder, but Van. And I wish that was a joke, says Kevin there. And maybe we will see 150 score in this game. We certainly will not. Don't get me wrong, we could get towards 100. But I don't think we're going to get to the 150 in this match. Not with 10 minutes down and 10 points. Theoretically, 80 points. We're on par for at this point in time. You have any bet suggestions? None at all. I don't even think you can bet on this here in New Zealand in the same way you can bet on the URC and international rugby. I think they've only got the option of like a handicap, and that's about it. Now attack and run forward for the Griquas, sitting 25 metres out from the line. To the right-hand side, Abraham's on debut. Oh, the Pumas coming flying through there. Whitehead with the ball on the outside. Man with the mask on. I think that is Van der Vault, who may have taken a bit of a knock at some stage. That's what you wear when you've got a broken nose, or at least you're trying to recover from one great attack and run from the Griquas. And it will be Erlang, who does score it in that number 8 jersey. Just like that. Griquas straight back in it. We'll have to give them some points. Right, I think they're just talking about something that did happen in one of the tackles. Just nice work. Close to the try line for the Griquas. The first run for Van der Vault, and then going straight through another gap in the Pumas defense. I think it was the 2 props actually there, Yannicka as well as Swickers, who tried to make that tackle. Just glided straight through the big number 8. And the Griquas, they will take the lead back. I'm hearing a lot of the ref and maybe a TMO chatting though, so that's not good news. Hopefully they won't take that one away. Right, they're still talking about something about a hooker. I assume it's rugby related. We have got there, no, the Pumas are a provincial team in South Africa. Says Lilia B. But that kick has gone over from Whitehead, so that is now going to make the score 10 points to 7. We'll go like this. There we go. Someone's doing a lot of talking. Someone's microphone, I think it might be the rest, was coming through extremely clearly there. But whatever was checked, I assume it was cleared. And we're good to go again. So kickoff here for Visachi. Gets us back underway. Nicely taken, 22 metres out from the line. I don't know who the Greeks are, but I'll put money on them. They are underdogs in this contest, or at least they were heading into the match. I believe about $4.50 underdogs. So, you know, they are considered as, well, that's the thing. They're not out of this game by any means. They're ahead by 3. And they have got a very decent side. The Pumas, that defence, when the Griquas scored, just looked a little bit too easy. That's a knock on there from the Griquas. So we will have ourselves another scrum. And we have got there the muscles there from Mike. Just going up for it. And just not quite taking it cleanly there. For, I believe it would have been Hafka. And then number 15 jersey for the Griquas. Currently sitting 14 minutes through this contest already. Like I said, scoreboard not working today, apparently. It's only got the final result rather than giving updates about what is happening throughout the game. So currently 10 points to 7 after almost 15 gone. The opening contest of the Carling Currie Cup comp. This Pumas scrum, they did get themselves a penalty just before. It already looks very wobbly at scrum time. And they'll push hard again. No advantage coming this time. Going off to the left for the Pumas. Getting it out to the dangerous try scorer, number 13. But Swart now on the inside. Back across to the right-hand side. Engelbrecht with the pop pass up to Leonard. 5 meters out. Again, quick hands. Beautifully done by the Pumas. They'll cut through. And it is another try scored. And this time it is the fly half Rasaki. He does get the try. They're back on the board again. I think this is going to be a little bit of a pattern of this game. Just try after try. Defenses potentially not quite doing as much as they should. The quick attack and ball, though. Nice pass from Brodia. And sitting about 3 meters out from the line. All they had to do was just shovel it on. It was nicely done from Swart. Now, lining up this kick. They are playing a song at the ground as well. I assume that is the Pumas song. Hey, let's go the Pumas, says Lilia B. And there as well. Now, ready to line this kick up. Give the 4-point lead. The ref's name, you pronounce... Wasn't it? Marius van der Vesthuizen, though. Now, that kick's going to go over. And it is going to make the score now 14 points to 10. So actually a very successful day already for the two men with the tees. Right, referee's explaining something here. Huh. Right. They're going to take those 2 points back. They have said that it took him too long to take the kick, even though it went over. The ref said, we have a shot clock, you went past it, so no points for you. I take that statement back about the kicking. Well, I mean, it's still 100. Wait. They've taken 2 points off the Griquas, though. That's the wrong way around. The score currently 12 points to 10. Oh, and another penalty. They're going to the Pumas. Who's your favourite for the NPC? Honestly, there's some pretty good-looking sides at the moment. I would say, like, Tasman looks strong. It's just dependent on who's got the least impact from the ABs missing. Zulu for Marius, says Eric there. And also, Eric, seriously, did they give him a warning? Not really, no. They just said, hey, you took it too late. There's a shot clock, so unlucky. Minus 2 points. Ozzy Osbourne and Hulk Hogan passed away, what a week, says Kevin. Yeah, a lot of the 80s stars going down, unfortunately, for this week. Now ready to throw it in. It will be Swart. That looked like it was a bit of a mismatch or a miscommunication. Forward pass. Now, nice slinging pass. The Pumas driven backwards. Pronounced Boland as Boulant, says Craig there. Now back across to the left. Pumas find themselves 30 metres out from the line, getting ready to roll this one back. Will be Brodia. Let's kick it high. Around the halfway line. Taken by the Griquas again with a good tackle from Masinki. And yeah, Hulk Hogan pass 2. Says Robert. Oh, stolen ball there from the Pumas. I don't think they initially had that one in the breakdown, but then ripped away and put onto their side now. There was a forward pass in the middle of the field. Quite free up Adonis out on the left wing. We'll go back for the knock on though. Well, sorry, the forward pass. So either way, we've got ourselves a scrum. Another big chance here for the Griquas to get back into the contest. Only the 2 points down at the moment. Looks like maybe an injury in back play. I can't quite work out what number that is on the back. I can't see. Oh, no, they're zoomed in. That's nice. It is Lamini. He's got a bit of an injury at the moment. The Griquas captain. Should stop the clock every time the kick line up. See Spider Mick. Okay, we're just listening to the referee talking to one of the tight hair props, the one who was injured, and he was saying he just wants a little bit of a slower cadence to the match. But a bit of popcorn, I should say, and biltong in the stands for this matchup. Looks like a decent night for a bit of rugby, though. Of course, there are some massive matches taking place in South Africa in the relatively near future. We have got there, everybody, and I only just tuned in. Where are we time-wise? Is scoreboard not giving info, says Bruce. We are currently 20 minutes through this matchup. But yeah, scoreboard, this is one of the only leagues that I know of that they've said we're not doing like a live timer. Or we're doing not even a live scoreboard. They're just saying, nah, we won't worry about it. We'll just update you once the game's over. Which is a little bit rough. Oh, big shot on the middle of the park for Yamlasa. Tackled around the halfway line for Leonard. Now across to the right again. And Swart. It's a little bit closer. About 45 metres out. You just feel like every time one of these two sides start attacking, someone's going to score. Do you know what you're going to do when the Hulk runs wild on you, brother? So here's Spider-Mick, and do they think they should have included Moyo along with the other 3 junior Springboks to join the Springboks? Do I think they should have included Moyo alongside the other 3 junior box? Moyo's in the Sharks Currie Cup squad, so we'll get to see more of him soon, says LGB. I feel like he was probably a little bit unlucky to miss out, but I think that might have also been because Rassie Erasmus didn't want his fly halves who are in the camp, such as Amani Libok or Sasha Feinberg, Ngume Zulu, to feel like they're being replaced. And I know that, like, Moyo's got plenty of time. And I think that might be the reasoning behind it, that he didn't want to go, like, this is a little bit of extra pressure for our 2 young fly halves. Just showing there the tackle being made. No clear release from the Pumas, so the penalty did go the way of the Griquas. Will be a chance to be able to add the extra 3. Now, of course, the Pumas were going to be 4 points ahead here, but they are actually only the 2 at the moment. Definitely something to keep an eye on. Definitely if we come down to the wire. I think Wallabies win tomorrow. I think they'll be a lot better than what we saw in terms of that first match. In the first match, they actually got better as that match wore on too. We need another proper place kicker. It's vital, says Bruce. So I assume you're saying another one apart from Pollard, right? And Junior Bok Lock Grobler on the bench tomorrow for the Bulls, says Eric. Yeah, there are a few of those Junior Bok guys who are luckily getting the opportunities. I do think that Hasim P, the way that he played throughout the under-20 comp, had he not been included in the Rassie Erasmus training camp, we may have actually seen maybe him off the bench for the Lions or starting. But I don't know if that started, but I'd definitely have him at least off the bench with the form that he was in. And Bolant is the best way to pronounce or describe the pronunciation, Amish. Says Craig, but now going back into the pocket. Now, nicely taken. Oh, no. It was taken for half a second, and then he drops the ball. Pure frustration for Tino Swanepoel there, as the Pumas give up huge amounts of territory. And now the Griquas have themselves a scrum only about maybe 25 metres out from the line. I will also add that extra 3, as I have just remembered I am in charge of the scoreboard here. And yeah, just going through the hands, slamming the ball out of frustration. Almost bounced up and hit him in the face. We have got there, Hamish Villileroux went to score with Moses. It was quite surprising to see Villileroux in that rugby championship squad. He was one of the guys that some people thought would miss out, but I honestly, he said he'd go with experience. and there aren't many more experienced than Vili Larue. We have got there correct. Pollard doesn't crack under extreme pressure, says Bruce. Yeah, although I do still see them keeping Lebok or Sasha because, in terms of the amount of tries that we have seen scored when those two are at the helm, it's a massive amount. And yes, the kicks are extremely important, but if you're not scoring tries leading up to them, that can also be a bit of a difference. Make another penalty going the way of the Griquas, who will be able to go for the extra 3 once more. We have got, Hamish, how many minutes behind in the stream from the live game, you reckon? I'd say probably 1, maybe 1.5. Just because Sky Sport now in New Zealand isn't normally too fast. Like, normally there's a bit of a delay. Yes, we definitely need another consistent kicker. If Lebok or Sasha keep on missing so many, says Eric. And I am freezing here in South Africa, says Melanie. What is the temperature where you are, Melanie? Do let me know. There's one thing that I know. It is definitely that it is cold here where we currently are. 16 points to 12, though. We will go like that, and we will go like that. But the Griquas just taking their points when they're available. Smart play. And these are all adding up at this point in time. Now, picked off by Visaki to get us back underway. And, he's upside down, and he's almost dropped on us yet. I think they put him down slightly lightly. The Pumas, they have got themselves the knock-on advantage. And we will go back for another scrum, which is something that has featured quite a bit throughout the last maybe 5 to 10 minutes of this contest, but jumping up for it and just not taking it cleanly for Pofu, who got dropped on his head, but he was all right. It was a softer landing. How would you rate the quality of rugby so far from these provincial teams? Early days, I know. Yeah, very early, but the tries that we've seen have been pretty impressive and some good kicking off the tees as well. Defensively, I think it's going to take a little bit longer, and that seemed to be the case last season as well for the Currie Cup. Those first early weeks, you see a lot of simple mistakes that the sides don't make when they get to the later stages of the comp. But this is a big scrum here from the Pumas this time. They have got themselves the advantage. So both sides actually winning multiple scrum penalties throughout this game. So a little bit 50-50 in that regard. Beautiful run forward and looks for the offload pass. One more to the right-hand side where it was Masinki who was waiting for it. Another great tackle made from the Griquas. And we'll go back for the original penalty. We won the Rugby World Cup because we had Pollard and New Zealand had DMAC, who wasn't much better than Lebok. 1 point difference, remember, says Bruce. I mean, there's much that you could talk about from that World Cup final, but there was the 1 point difference indeed. Richie and Barrett kicked for New Zealand, not DMAC, says Eric. And yeah, it was also Geordie Barrett that did miss the last kick for New Zealand, but I didn't want to correct Bruce too much because he's with his friend, his lady friend, and you don't like to correct a bloke in front of a lady. We have got there up the grig, says Spider Mick. ASO, much appreciated for covering our South African game, says Craig. Now getting ready to line up this kick straight out in front of the post. Again, another opportunity for 3 extra points. Visaki, he's sitting 1 from 2, but really he's sitting 2 from 2. He got the other one over, but, it was just not counted because he took a little bit too long. We've also just got a black screen here in New Zealand. Hopefully they sort out the coverage in the relatively near future because I do want to know if this kick did go over. And we've got a Sky Sports story for the interruption. Welcome back to the Currie Cup, ladies and gents. Maybe that is why they haven't shown it in about 3 years. Hopefully it will come back in the near future. Like I said, it was relatively straight out in front. So I'm actually going to give the Pumas the 3 points for that one. Okay, boy, down to place kicks though, says Bruce. Yeah, Geordie Barrett definitely was not happy with the way that he struck that last one. The thing is, he hadn't done a lot of kicking though up till that point, had he? Throughout it. But yeah, sorry for the interruption is the message we have got. Could be weather related. I actually think it's a relatively nice day there. It was 19 degrees high, 11 degrees low, and there weren't really any drastic amounts of wind. Welcome to South Africa. They stole the cameras, says Erica there. Well, hopefully they give them back in the very near future because this is a long interruption. And it would be such a shame for our first Currie Cup live stream in a long time to be interrupted by technical difficulties that aren't even ours. Your bet and Tash grew back quick. It did, which I was quite surprised about because normally it takes me like a good month or so. But no, it actually kind of came back. It doesn't come back even though, that's the only problem. But yeah, we'll see. Cameras and the cable, says Mike. Yeah, the camera and the cables are both not working at the moment. One moment, we will go like this. We will go like that as well. Still sorry for the interruption. I wonder if that's just for us here in New Zealand or whether that's for everyone. Because if it's just us here in New Zealand, that is slightly a shame that we don't have any sort of the coverage. One moment, we'll go like this. I'm trying my best to see if it is just us or whether it is in general. They've shown Geordie Barrett like in a Hurricanes kit from a very long time ago. But that is, of course, not the Currie Cup. Unfortunately, still the interruption. But the score, I believe, would still be 16 points to 15. I will quickly go and make sure that no one else has scored just yet. 16 points to 12 is the score that it's got at the moment. But I assume that is because it also cut off for the one who's doing the live updates in that regard. But this is a very long interruption, ladies and gentlemen. So I guess we should say any questions, put them through now because there's nothing to talk about for the game while the technical difficulties are going on. So yeah, if you've got any questions about the weekend or just in general, fire them all through. What we can do is show you what is coming up in the Currie Cup too in the relatively near future. For this weekend, forget about the 7 days sitting there, but tomorrow will be the Golden Lions taking on the Sharks, and then also the Western Province, they are taking on the Blue Bulls, and what will be a very exciting game, and I think match of the weekend really, when you look at the class of the two sides, and then Bolint playing the Cheetahs. That is the game taking place on Monday morning for us here in New Zealand. In regards to next week of the Carling Currie Cup, we also get to see the Cheetahs take on the Pumas, the Lions take on the Western Province, Blue Bulls versus Sharks, once again, pretty awesome matchup. If that is going to be taking place, well, when that one does take place, and then the Griquas taking on Bolint in that game as well. We have got the How Will New Zealand beat South Africa in September. What is the game plan, says Eric? Well, I haven't talked to Scott Robertson personally, but I think the biggest thing that New Zealand need to do is not get a red card. That will help them a lot. Defence is optional, says Fleshin. My chat keeps cutting out to anyone else. We have good there. New Zealand right now is 12, feels like 10, partly cloudy. Tell you what, it doesn't feel like 10 where I am, Spider-Mick. We must be a lot more south, which I know by location that I am. I'm 1 degree Celsius at the moment where I am, which is not nice. I got a pick for Lions versus Wallabies. Well, the thing is, I was hoping that first game would be separated by about 15 because I could then go with the easy prediction of I think the second game's going to be closer. But then this game last week, it was only 8 points separating them. So for it to be closer than that, both sides would have to be doing pretty well. So I'm still going to say it though. Hopefully it's a closer game than it was for the first test. It would be ideal if Australia can win that one and just get us into a exciting third test match for a neutral. Do you have indoor heating? I have a fireplace, but it's not in this room. I have the door closed, so it's just, oh, it's gone to -1 is the updated temperature now. I feel like Lions are going to sweep, says Big Rig Joe. And also, Hamish, are you keeping a crazy schedule, buddy? Yeah. Sleep does not really exist at times. And whatever New Zealand has, Box will win, says Craig. But yeah, I should mention they are still showing highlights from the Bunnings NPC, with Sky Sport regrets the interruption of this program. We are working hard to restore normal service. You need a fireplace in New Zealand? Well, normally you do when it's -1. Like that's, well, either that or a heat pump can go well. Eastern power outage. Wait, is it actually a power outage at the stadium? Is that although power outage, would it be that? Oh, it looked actually pretty dark. Is that actually the case? I'll have to do a little bit of the quick old Googling. See what we can find. Although I don't think there'll be any sort of really quick update. We have got there are going to be another close one, small margins. Let's see. All right, we'll go like this. We got the updates of it at the moment. It's trying to get me to shed 50 pounds of body fat. But now I'm just trying to scroll to see a live update. Last updated. Okay, no, those are just the lineups. Maybe it's lightning like the US game. Although I'd like to think that they'd give us some warning for that. Is the game still going on, or are they also stopped from playing? I actually have no idea. And damn no stream U2 says Victor. Oh, so we're all in the same boat, Vic. Yeah. Sadly, nothing for us here in New Zealand, which is a big shame, seeing as it's like the first one. Do you think we'll be able to start a YouTube channel reviewing the Currie Cup and building from there? Says Rion, if it's a competition you're passionate about, I'd say absolutely. I definitely, personally, myself, I wouldn't do one on the Currie Cup just because I don't know enough about the comp. But if you're someone who has, watched it for a few years and you know the players and whatnot, I'd say go for it and see what happens. At the end of the day, if it doesn't work, you can swap to a different competition or find a different thing. But as long as you're having fun, that's the main thing. And I feel like Vic, if he is still here, he'll be able to say the same thing, that you got to enjoy what you're doing, because it's a lot of hours to not like it. We are very close to Boland Stadium. So if you're in the vicinity, keep going. Busy at the moment, just getting some, come say hi, says Bruce. And we have got there, ever heard of Beachy Head in South England? It's a high cliff jump off when the game feed has issues. I've never heard of it. That's solid advice, thanks, says Rion. And there as well. But yeah, ladies and gents, I still cannot see the game. So that's not good. 12-16 or 15-16. I find it very hard to believe that he would have missed the kick. I do have to say, how much time is left? I believe we're about 35 minutes through the game, but sadly all the coverage, it seems like almost around the world, is cut out for this game. So in that regard, I have to just guess that it's around the 15. Most of us have watched Currie Cup since we were just little boys, says Lionel. And also, we have got there 12, 16, or 15. Yeah, so I think it's 15 because it was 22 meters straight out in front, but we didn't actually get to see the kick. So it is one of the two. And yeah, I just hope that the coverage comes back before halftime, because at the moment, the clock is absolutely ticking away. And yeah, we'll have to wait and find out. We haven't had a cutout of a game for this long in a very long time. 30 minutes. Greg was for the 16-15 to the Pumas, and Visaki lands the shot at the goals and is now 1 point of fear, says Mike. Okay, so he did get that kick over. What minute of the match did it disappear? It disappeared. I can actually go back and find it. It disappeared. Wow. It actually disappeared 9 minutes ago. All the bookmakers have the market suspended. If they can't see the match, then nobody can, because they've got cameras everywhere, says David. Oh, what haven't I just got here? Says, I have no clue. Yeah, the coverage for some reason around multiple countries has cut out. Well, this one, some of us followed the Currie Cup before TV. Says Russell Dalton. I'm sure you've got some great memories from back in the day. 29th minute it cut off, says David. Yeah, so we're currently sitting about 10 minutes into a technical difficulty disruption, which I did not plan for in this match. I'm hoping that it comes back relatively soon, because, the game was on. We have got there raised in Rhodesia. I love the Currie Cup when Rhodesia was considered a South African province, says Code Puncher. And never seen the Dark Knight Rises. Hope Bain didn't make it to the stadium, says Big Rig. And 22-16, mate, says Macau. Oh, so you've still got the coverage somewhere, Macau. Are you in South Africa by any chance on Super Sport? Yeah, because for us here in Sky, we've got absolutely nothing, unfortunately. But I will take your word for it. Hopefully you are correct, and we will update it to 22 points to 16 while we're waiting for some coverage to come back here in New Zealand. And worst comes to worst, we can change it back afterwards. And blackout makes no difference for South African refs. Just go on as usual. I live in South Africa, yeah, mate. Says Mikhail. Yeah, so it must still be available on maybe DSTV, except just anywhere else around the world. Sadly, we've got nothing. We've got Rico Ioane running at the moment, being chased by Geordie Barrett. And then, yeah, I don't know what to say. It's been cut out for like 15 minutes almost. It's ticking up close to it. Eventful for the Currie Cup. See, normally they don't even show it here in New Zealand, but they aren't showing it here in New Zealand for a different reason now. Which is, we've got it back. Right, it is 23-18 in favour of the Griquas. And we've got 30 seconds left, or 1 minute 30, sorry, until the second half, or the first half comes to a close. There we go. And we've currently got no commentators, which makes me wonder whether or not there's a problem with that too, but there is going to be a knock-on. So we're actually going right back to where we started in terms of, like, we lost the coverage on a knock-on. Oh, that doesn't sound good. A player is moaning, and not in a good way. He sounds like he's in a bit of pain. And damn, despite a sense, Hammy, time for work. Thanks for the commentary by everyone, whoosh. And last score online was 12 points to 16 in the 26 minutes. So now updated score is 23-18 to the Griquas. And that is after 39 minutes. 22-16 or 18-23. It is 18-23. We have now got the official scoreboard. We were taking the advice of people in the chat, but they were giving us the wrong scores. 22-16 or 18-23. It is 18-23. In favour of the Griquas. My Super Brew is Griquas by 6, so you're not a mile off. And we will go the Griquas. Yeah, and they came in as big underdogs heading into this matchup. So we have just got a little bit of a stoppage at the moment. But we just need that scrum to take place, and then I think we'll be going into the second half with a game that is absolutely wide open for both of the teams. Okay, there's a lot of talking once again going on between referee and maybe the captain. What was the score before it cut off? It was 16-12. But I believe it would have become 16-15, and then the Pumas have taken another 3 since then. Whereas the Griquas, they ended up scoring a try. And the right Griquas were 2-7 or 7-2 to win this. Pumas won 1-4 on. So does that mean that the Griquas were favourites? Potentially. Now, I don't really know how those odds work, because for us here in New Zealand, it's pretty much like one side is $1.20, let's say, and the other side was $4.50, I think it was, for just the Griquas to win this game. So it sounds like that would have been a good bet. Now, big scrum here, sitting with a minute remaining. Now passing back across here, a bit of open space for the Pumas, running onto it as the man with the broken nose, Van der Vault, does make the tackle. What's the score now? Score is currently 23 points to 18. The Sky Sport have got a message at the bottom saying, we regret the lack of commentary. Well, there you go. I should start putting that as a disclaimer down the bottom of my streams too. Pumas $1.25, Griquas $4.50. Okay, yeah, so that was about what it was here in New Zealand as well. So they're not doing too bad for an underdog at this point in time. Still up by the 5. Van Niekerk went off the field, onto the field, and that was for Swart, who did have the injury a little bit ago. Stream back enjoy, says Victor. And there as well. Yeah, hopefully it doesn't cut out anymore. And yeah, hopefully you do enjoy the rest of the game too, Vic. And coverage gone here, not working. So hopefully that isn't a sign of things to come here, because we had about 15 minutes where we didn't have any coverage. Unfortunately. Right, line out time here. We are just ticking over to the 40 minutes. So 10 pounds on the Griquas will return 45. Yeah, so pretty good odds in that regard. Oh, and that is the halftime siren now sounding. Ball's loose. Pumas pick it up. And they will get the last attacking chance of this half, although the Griquas trying to get in there, lost their feet. It's 2 tries each, says David. And Iani, good to see you. Says Lilia B. And also we have got there Yanni Stenhus. Hopefully I've said that correctly, although I think I butchered that a little bit. I must have a big talk at halftime. Fire up the Pumas, says Eric. The thing is, the Pumas could still go into the second half in the lead. I look at Jaco van der Walt, Jacques van der Walt. He's got his big strapping on the nose. Surely they had another loose forward that they could have used rather than a bloke with a broken nose that is recovering, right? Like, I get that he's committed to his craft and that he wants to play. But at some point, you have to wonder if it's worth it. 23-23, says Venusan. Yeah, still rolling forward here for the Pumas. Chance to be able to score it, getting over, and now a chance to lead going into the second half for the Pumas. It's an important kick, but most of the other kicks have gone over. In fact, they would be in the lead had it not been for that shot clock debacle that they had earlier on. Does feel like we've missed a lot of this half, though, during that technical difficulty stage. Just getting over with that rolling maul, the try scorer Swart. And they score, they certainly did. 23-23 with the kick to come for, yes, Vasachi. 25. So here's Venusan, so you must be slightly ahead in the coverage. Good game to start off the Currie Cup, says Lilia B. Lining up this one. The left boot. And does get it over. So 25-23 heading into halftime. So already we have seen a lot of points. 48 in total. So we could have a 100-point match here on the cards. And kick at what angle, says Mike. He did kick it from about 30 out from maybe about 15 from the near touch line. I say it's the best way to describe it. Give me nightmares. It's back to ref in CC. And the cold caused the technical difficulty downtime. Did it? No, surely not. I wonder what it was, though. Whether someone accidentally unplugged a cable, tripped over something. I need 66 points. They should get that, I would say, within the first maybe 25 minutes of the second half. If they keep on scoring at the rate that they are. Yeah, in terms of the odds, I assume with the fact that these two sides are extremely close, they're probably similar to what we saw at the start of the contest. Although I think the Griquas certainly do deserve a lot of credit for how they've played as an underdog. And that's, don't you hate it when your hacked fire stick doesn't work properly, says Code Puncher. I guess so. Can't relate fully, but is that something that happens often? I'd assume if it was hacked at one point, probably be hacked again, right? We'll go like this. We'll go like that as well. I'm trying to find out who scored that Griquas try in the middle that we didn't get to see. And hopefully I'll be able to find somewhere what it was. Right, we've got it here. It was actually... No, it actually doesn't have it. Never mind. I saw that it still has 12 points to 16 on the one that I normally find. What's the time? It is halftime in this contest. 25 points to 23. As it does currently sit, what we will do is we will add that. There we go. That'll make it a little bit easier. Which team has looked better, or are they on par? Honestly, I'd say the Pumas have looked more dangerous on attack, but their defense at times has looked weak enough to be budged. Dwayne Vermeulen and JP Peterson are in the same Pumas Craven Week team. Aaron African Lions roams the street and eat cables. That's the reason for the downtime in the broadcasting, says Xander. Well, there you go. Normally it's the weather, but every once in a while I guess a lion can cause a problem. They've got sharp claws and sharp teeth, from what I've heard. They may be cute as a cat, but do not touch the lion. Not in that way either. A monkey's climbing the stadium and breaking lights, says Ryan there. Yeah, second half just around the corner. We will look through at the benches for these two sides. Already an earlier change had to be made for the Pumas. We have seen Van Niekerk make his way onto the park. And that was due to the injury of Swart in that number 12 jersey. Don't think we'll be too far off seeing 1 or 2 extra changes, though, in the front rows, mainly because of the scrum penalties that we have seen. Now they're showing burgers. This is such a mean thing to show. It's 6 a.m. here in New Zealand, but it's probably decent time to show it if you are in South Africa. I've been told about a burger many times, and I can't remember its name now. But it's like a special burger to a certain location. And if someone says the name, it will remind me. But it's like a big mammoth type of thing. And it's going to annoy me now that I can't remember it. And Griquas, former team of the recent 100 cap Springbok, says Cody. And up the Griquas and Morning Hamish says Mornay. Well, sorry, your name's not Mornay. Your name's Nate. Welcome in. Kota, no, it's like a... What's it called? I think it's a Cape Town thing. Maybe. I think it was in Cape Town, and it's like a big, like, is it a street vendor type of? No. It's like it's a well-known burger, and it's big. It's going to annoy me, because it's been talked about many times. King Steer, no, I don't think it was a King Steer. Bunny Chow, don't think so, but maybe on the same lines. The Gatsby, that's the one. The big old Gatsby. That is a burger that I wouldn't mind. At 6 a.m. Zach Burger, that is another burger. He is going to be playing in the game tomorrow. But yeah, half time on a half that we only saw half of. Skulk Burger, says Eric. Oh, how many more can you name, Eric? Keep on going. Players with the last name Burger. If you can get to 10, I will be impressed, because 10 is actually a lot. Maybe 5 would be the better goal there. And Marina Boss says Blues Nate, welcome in. Just showing some of the highlights here between, I want to say that it's Italy in that second test match, because Edward van der Merwe is just tearing them open, and that was what he was able to do. And test match number 2, Freak Burger, says Eric there. I think I'm going to have to look up the Gatsby Burger while we are at half time. See what it looks like. Images. Is that the burger that I saw last time? That doesn't look like the burger, to be honest. That looks like a different burger. Oh no, that's got a bit of meat. We have there, Grant will be fuming. You called a Gatsby a burger. Is it not? It's a sandwich, isn't it? Like a sub? I'm seeing some. I think, yeah, no, it's more like a sub or like a sandwich, as they say. We have got there Yanni de Burger and Philip Burger. Would have scored many tries against the Griquas from 2005 to 2007. Says Cody Armstrong. Johannesburger. Says Eric. I like the creativity. Just showing highlights of the women's game as well for New Zealand and Australia. Of course, New Zealand XV taking on the South African women's side tomorrow. That is taking place at the same time as the Western Province versus Bulls game. But we will be doing that Currie Cup contest, as long as, of course, it doesn't end up showing. It depends on the bun. Says Lilia. See, the one that I saw a while ago had a lot of meat in it, like a big amount. So I don't know whether or not that was directly the same burger or sub or sandwich. Yeah, Makazole Mapimpi, player who did actually miss out on the initial rugby championship squad, but he is one of the many injury cover players that the South Africans have got. Plenty of talent for those matches up against the Wallabies, which are coming very close, ladies and gents. In terms of the upcoming matches of international rugby, don't worry about the days because they are wrong, but the game that is taking place tomorrow will be Australia taking on the British and Irish Lions. Then from there, the week after, they will be playing them yet again. South Africa versus Australia and Argentina versus New Zealand for the opening round of the Rugby Championship. And then the Pacific Nations Cup is also going to be starting up. Not completely confirmed in terms of when those Pacific Island games are taking place as of yet, but Canada versus USA locked in for 1 p.m. I'm not too sure if we're covering that one as of yet. I think we might be, well, it depends. So I do think after that we've also got the other games of the Rugby Championship that we will be trying to cover on the channel too. We have got there, what do you think of the Pumas joining Super Rugby? I don't know if the Pumas are going to, are they? I know that the Cheetahs have been mentioned about as a bit of a rumour for going into the Super Rugby comp. It would be intriguing. I don't know whether or not they are going to go with, like, the travel side of things, or whether they're going to try and base them out of Australia. It's a fat sub roll with protein, spice, chips, onions, and sauces, I believe. So here's flesh in there. And any New Zealand friends, remember Burger Golden Haze? I do not. The only other food and names I know is the Spaghetti Brothers from Italy. So here's Xander. There you go. But yeah, second round of the Currie Cup, just around the corner. Of course, the 3 other games that are taking place for this weekend. The Golden Knights taking on the Sharks. Western Province taking on the Bulls. And then also Boland in action. They'll be taking on the Cheetahs. I wish there was more to talk about from that first half, but I think some of the stuff that happened in that first half happened during the time we couldn't actually see the coverage due to the technical difficulties. So what I saw from the first kind of 25-ish minutes was, it was very much, if one side made the mistake, the other side got points. Penalties inside of their own half, sides are going to be taking the threes, as we did see multiple times. As I do believe that is a big yawn. But how many 3-pointers did the Pumas get from that first half? I know that they scored 2 tries, so that was 12 points worth. That doesn't add up. They must have had another one in there somewhere. In fact, no, I think they had another try thrown in there for good measure. And then the Griquas, they were busy throughout that first half. I do think that if they can find a bit of a rhythm going, it could be quite dangerous in the second. Dagwood's a thing in New Zealand. I will have to Google it. Dagwood sandwich. Is that? Oh, sandwich New Zealand. Dagwood sandwich. What is that in that one? That's lettuce, tomato, bacon, cheddar. Is that the right thing? Maybe beef Dagwood. We have roast beef here in New Zealand, so I don't know whether or not that's like a main thing that has to be involved. A walk without rhythm, you won't attract the worm. So here's Big Rig Joe. I think a Cats team should be picked for Super Rugby, throwback to Super 12. This guy should be selected from Cheetahs, Griquas, and Pumas players. I guess the only tricky part around that would be the Cheetahs or whoever it is, or the Cats. They'd have to give up some of their spots in the Champions and Challenge Cup, because I think they would overlap a little bit with Super Rugby, so that's one slight downside of it. So they'd have to, be willing to lose that spot out of Boland, Cheetahs, and Pumas and Griquas, who would be able to compete in Super Rugby. Or what about the combined team of all 4? I think that the Cheetahs would probably be the most competitive, although saying that, I think last year would say otherwise in terms of the overall. Well, no. Actually, to be fair, last year they were at the top of those sides, so you'd probably say them. You wouldn't chuck the Griffins over there at the moment, that is for sure. But, a combined team might be all right, but it's just whether or not they would want to travel. And France Dane wants to return to Super Rugby, and agree, Cody. We have to have a great South African team in Super Rugby again. Add Boland also. Says Eric there. One moment, I am about to sneeze, so I will very quickly mute. I sneezed 3 times. But new half, new jersey. They have just said the Pumas deciding to switch at the halftime break. This one extremely close between the two teams, sitting just the 2 points difference at this point in time. Franz Stein, a fatty now, thought he retired. Cesaro, I believe he is retired. I think he was just saying it from a standpoint of what he thinks. Now, sitting about 22 metres out from their own line for the Griquas. We've got the extremely wide angle shot at the moment, so we're far enough away that they are only ants running around out there on the field. The production, I assume that this is the same camera angle that they've got for Supersport as well, but this is a very hard one to tell what is actually going on. But it's kicked down towards the halfway line, and it will be the line out for the Pumas. But yeah, we've got the commentary back, but we haven't got the camera angles. We are sitting way out in the stands. Oh, wait, how do they have an HIA? Someone's going off for an HIA from a head contact in a tackle. I think we've only had one tackle. Oh, no, we've got the other camera angle now. We're good. What was the name of the combined team in Super 12? Anti, their no fight against a cat, says Kevin. He will go off for the HIA early on. The Greek was back. And it was Cheetahs and the Lions, the Cats, says Cody. Now line out throw for Schwartz. He did score the last try of the first half, and that's nicely taken by the Griquas. Back on the halfway line. Way to the left-hand side. A little bit of a step attempted there from Zwinlin Dubba. His name wouldn't quite roll off the tongue in the starting lineups, and we got another penalty. And did Laurie Mains not coach the Cats also, says Eric? Your knowledge will be better than mine in that regard. Now another penalty, this time going the way of the Pumas. They're just saying about maybe one more injury could completely shift this game's momentum. It looks like the Pumas are actually opting for the corner here rather than going for the 3 points. So a difference in mindset heading into the second half. Which does remind me I better change the scoreboard so that it is behaving itself. There we go. So 38 minutes remaining. Plenty of time for a 2-point margin to either be extended or cut down. Thrown in by Swart again. Taken at the front and a good line out for, I believe it was Damasa. Rolling ball, Swart getting that little bit closer. It's going sideways at the moment for the Pumas, but it does still seem to be moving forward. It is dragged down, and there is the penalty advantage now going against this Griquas defence. Still under that penalty advantage, so you can throw everything into it. Yanaka, 10 metres out from the try line, searching for this ball in the breakdown. Another advantage, that time for not rolling away. Going against Urlach. Now pass it across again, Engelbrecht. Looking over the ball for the Griquas captain. New advantage, but no clear release. That's 3 in a row. They might have a yellow card here if they're not careful. Double blow of the whistle. This might also be a deliberate knockdown. That was 4 different penalties in a row, all for different things. Started off with dragging down the maul, then turned into not rolling away, then turned into no clear release, then turned into deliberate knockdown. So Caleb Abrahams, he will be going off the field for 10 minutes. Cats made the semi-final in 2001, lost to Sharks in Durban. Brumbies destroyed Sharks in the final. And seems like most Bull supporters are happy with the new replacement of Jake White, says Xander. And hopefully, hopefully he can win a title, because if he doesn't, people want to sack him just as quick as they wanted to sack Jake. So, for his sake, another advantage. This time for joining them all too early, not allowing the player to land. At the moment, the Griquas are just collecting penalty advantages against them. Backline movement, Vasachi getting it across field. Beautiful one-on-one defence there from Weir. And they'll go back for another penalty. I'm surprised that the Pumas hooker not signed at a bigger union. He is a big unit. His line-out throw is also good. I think he played overseas also for some European club. So here's Eric. So that would be Edouard Swart. I think he's... Who did he play for overseas? The Scarlets was where he was. Now sitting 5 metres out from the line. Another line out. Currently another 9 minutes remaining of that yellow card. This is going to be extremely difficult to defend for the Griquas. Still with that man down. They haven't got their 9. In this scenario, when it comes to the rolling maul, they probably don't need, but I would think that they want him for his defence at this point of the contest. Now, rolling forward. It's also a yellow card on debut for Abrahams. Feels like yellow cards are way more common now than when I was a kid, says Big Rig Joe. Yeah, there are a lot Oh, that was poor from the Griquas. They actually managed to take the ball back just to then pass it straight back into the hands of the Pumas. We're now going for the attack again. Brodia going off to the right-hand side. Another advantage against the Griquas. It is falling apart for this away side. Now a little chip attempted in behind for Visachi. They'll go back. Another blow of the whistle. How do you feel about Lena Brown extending to 2028? Oh, another yellow card for the Griquas. Was that George Whitehead? Yes, it is. So they have lost their 9 and their 10 now for the Griquas. That's not good. Oh, I've worked it out. I was trying to understand Marius van der Vesthuizen earlier on in the contest, and I could hear him saying words and I couldn't work out what was being said. It's because he's actually speaking in Afrikaans to the players. Going to be interesting now, says Lilia B. I was not a knock-on, says Eric, in halftime 1916, and the halftime break it was 25-23. Same as we do currently sit. Although, I don't think it's going to be a mile off a try coming. It also looks like the player, Sibo Dlamini, or Dlamini, I should say, sorry, going to make his way off with an injury. Cards and injuries for the Griquas. Yeah, it's going from bad to worse for them at the moment. The scrum is called by the Pumas. I thought Jake White was irreplaceable. He took balls to 3 finals. It seems like management only want trophies. Second place don't count, but harsh to be honest, says Xander. Yeah, and it's one of those mindsets that, you know, sometimes works and other times makes you a side that not many coaches like to go to. Yellows used to be just issue for connecting with a punch, and now any offence within 10 metres of the line is yellow, says David. Yeah, the repeat infringements. You know, like in this case, we've seen 2 guys for the Griquas already go off. Like, there hasn't been really any foul play in terms of like hitting to the heads or anything along those lines. It's just been so many advantages against them. We have got there, Jake's problem was not coaching. It was all his whining and moaning and not backing his players no matter what, says Eric. Now ball's being fed in. We're going to get this scrum moving forward. It stays strong. Now Abraham's pick and go. Terrible decision there. He's gone forward by about a metre. My forwards coach at school, Captain Greek, was back in 2000s. Gareth Cross says, Cody there. It's probably a good thing to make the game safer. Easy to complain when you're not the ones getting knocked in the head, says Big Rig Joe. Yeah, like the head knock ones you can understand as the yellows. I don't think they were debating those. I think it was more so the fact that, like, the repeat infringements yellows seeing are the yellow cards. Now, scrum feed here. Be a chance for the Griquas, who are currently only sitting about 5 metres out from their line. About to feed this ball in. 2 points difference between these two sides, back into the pocket, where, of course, Whitehead is not, as he has been sent off the field for another 8 minutes. Still 6 minutes remaining of the Griquas' first yellow card. Who has the scrum was the Griquas, who have cleared their lines. We have got the Great Big Rig guys from 20-odd years. Will have horrible brain injuries. We want rugby to continue, players need protected. Says David, and rugby can be brutal. It certainly can, yeah. I mean, you just got to look over a weekend with the amount of injuries, even outside of international rugby, that we are seeing. Getting ready to throw it in now for Swart. Nicely taken by the Pumas, who I think wanted that penalty, and 80-something. Goodberger was amazing. And the 1980s Port Elizabeth and Rugby World Cup 07 and Super Rugby titles speak volumes for Jake. Said Blues Nate. Now they're being told to use it, going back across to the right-hand side here. Kick and run from Brodia. Back to the right again, using Swickers now. And some of those big forwards in off the feet from the Griquas number 16. They're just not helping themselves. At the moment now, it is kicked across field and rolls into touch. They'll go back for, yet again, another penalty. They might not be a mile off a third yellow card in quick succession here. Right, referee, I think has just said that is your final warning here. And that if anything else does happen, you're gone. But the thing is, we've seen so much attack, yet no points for the Pumas. Throughout this whole 9 minutes, they have been nowhere but the 22. And still, they sit on the same amount. So, do they eventually go for threes? 28, says Vunasan. And yeah, it is going to be the case. They are going for the 3 points. Near points ASAP, says Sir Des. And no points scored yet in the second half, not until now. As we've had the spoiler that this kick does go over, and it certainly does. So we'll make the score 28 points to 23. Honestly, the Griquas will probably say, that's all right. Why take 3, went down to 13, that is ridiculous. I think they just realised that they weren't getting through, which has to be a little bit of a confidence booster for the Griquas and certainly would hurt the confidence of this Pumas team. You know, you're playing 13 men and you couldn't get through even though they were repeatedly infringing. So this will let them off the hook a little bit. They failed many attacks, decided to get some points while there. Says Eric. It's going to be kicked off by the Griquas. And that's the thing, the counter-attack for the Pumas may be more dangerous. Oh, big shot there from the Griquas. Back off to the right-hand side. Skip pass. Put back on the inside with that 2-man advantage. Better to come away with points than keep on attacking and come up with nothing, says Big Rig. Psychology. Yeah, I think it will psychologically boost up the Griquas too. Because, you know, they'll go, look, you couldn't get through us when we had 13. Oh, that looked close to 4 for the Pumas. Now breaking the line, Willie Engelbrecht. Moving back up to 25 out. Now Brodia goes across. Visachi finds his number 15. Swanepoel with the inside pass. A double step. That was poor defense from the Griquas. And they will now break through and score that try. We have got there, it's the converted constant yellow card defense. And Griquas are fantastic sevens team, says Kevin there. Well, if they weren't careful, their discipline was going to get them down to the 7 men. But that pass from Swanepoel, the one on the inside, does manage to score it. 13-man try. Well, 15-man try up against a 13-man side, I assume is what you mean in there. And we have got there 33. So Verno's saying, you do love your spoilers, don't you? I'll give you a lot of credit. You're one of the most persistent with the ahead of time scoreline. We have got there, now we see why they went 3 points, now it is 10. Says Eric. And that one has gone over. Making the score now 35 points to 23, the 12-point margin. Just some good decisions made there from the Pumas. The ball on the inside to, I believe it would have been Van Niekerk, who they just wanted to avoid tackling. By the looks of that replay, I should say. Any of these teams try to maul from a pass yet? What's the name for that move, by the way? I have no idea what it's called. But it's a move that if it isn't taken out of the game, we will probably see quite a bit in the relatively near future. We have got there, that's a polite way of saying stop using spoilers, mate. Says David, I'm glad someone caught it. But yeah, it's only about the 5th one, wasn't it? Now going off to the right-hand side. Inside of their 22 again here for the Pumas, sitting 3 minutes now remaining on the clock of that second yellow card. Actually 30 seconds remaining of the first one, but now breaking off down the wing again, close to the sideline. Ball on the inside. It might have been a deliberate knockdown. Oh, they're getting a 3rd yellow. They're going off the field. It's 12 on 15. The good news is they've got 20 seconds before they'll be back to 13. Do the Wallabies have any chance tomorrow? I think it will be closer. Okay, so it's going to be a yellow card. And it looks like the number 11 here, Gershin Ware, he can't quite believe it. This game has just absolutely gone wayward throughout the last little while. 3 yellow cards We're going to see the replay down the wing, right next to the sideline. Manages to stay in the field of play. And yeah, that one, it is extended out in front. But now, Swart throwing it in. They've gone short, as there should be some gaps there, but they've been driven into touch. The Griquas defence just out from the line has actually been pretty solid here. They've got their brilliant strategy. Step 1, get a dozen yellow cards. And also 9, 10, 11, and 12, 13 followers. Yeah, they're doing it in numerical order at the moment. So if you're number 12, you'd be pretty nervous at this point in time. Although I think he went off earlier on in the game, didn't he? Oh no, Kriya is still out there. He's got a chance. The Pumas looking for the steal on the breakdown, unable to get it. Now kick downfield for Thomas Bursi. Step 2 and step 3 victory. Says Big Rig Joe. A good kick downfield. 50 seconds remaining of the George Whitehead yellow card. I can't believe how different this second half has been from the first in terms of the amount of just ill discipline we have seen. Currently 12 points separating them. You do not want to be a side that is down by 12, but also you are down by 2 in terms of the men. What's the max yellow cards before game 4? But I don't actually know if there's an amount in terms of this level. I know in the kind of schoolboy rugby or on the weekends, if it reaches a certain number of reds and yellows, they can just call it quits for the sake of everyone. Now backline movement here for the Pumas as they move sideways. It's fun though, isn't it? Says Fleshin. It'll be fun for one of these two teams. I'm not sure whether or not the Griquas will be having as much fun at this point in time. Now ready to kick it into touch for Visachi. Tackler not rolling away. I would say, honestly, it sounds bad, but if there's 1 or 2 more penalties from the Griquas this close to their line, they're probably getting another man sent off. What minute is it in? At the moment, we are 56 minutes through. Right, Ben Whitehead gets to make his way back on. So they're back to 14 on 15 at this point in time. Lineouts have been relatively successful for both sides, and the Pumas have yet again managed to retain theirs. Looping around with Swart. Ready to move a little bit closer to the try line. Looks like it's available for Mbrodia. Goes off to the right. This just seems like it's only a matter of time till the Pumas. Oh no, stolen by the Griquas for half a second, more than 4, I should say, so 5. In football soccer, it's an automatic forfeit if you get 4 red cards. It's ruled as a 3-0 loss. I wonder what the record is for most cards in a match. I think in the school or the casual rugby, it's a lot more. In international games, I think we're seeing games with about 4 or 5 cards. Maybe not all at the same time. Yeah, it was initially ripped away by the Griquas lock in, I believe it was Lebenberg. But now another scrum. There's some tired-looking players out there for the Griquas because of the speed that this game is being played at. Canada and South Africa. 1995, according to Google, had 9 cards. Does that mean someone had 5 and the other had 4, or was it 6 and 3, or 7 and 2? You just assume that might have been from a dominant Springbok scrum, and perhaps just forcing error after error. Scrums at the moment, 100% for both of these sides. 8 scrums for the Pumas in this game. Now, scrum, feed, looking all right. Hanging on to it at the back and picking it up is Willie Engelbrecht. Oh, Van Niekerk. Think about 10 metres out from the line. Another attack and run from Leonard, who's driven back to the 10 metres. And 9 cards, that's a big brawl. With some rugby in between, says Eric. Now passing off to the right-hand side. Losing meters here for Fasanti. the Griquas. Even though they have had a lot of penalties against them, they still seem to be towing the line of what is legal and what is not. In terms of how quickly they are trying to get those steals in the breakdown. There were literal fistfights in that match. It was like ice hockey without the pads. So here's David. Yeah, well, to be fair, Canadians do love a brawl and a bit of hockey, don't they? Now we are past 3/4 of this match. It's turned into a maul. The Griquas hold it up and get it down. And I think he's still holding it. No, it has been released. So the Pumas are able to get it moving once more. Needs a score, says Sir. Yeah, one more score for the Pumas before the next yellow card is up. I think would be absolutely massive for them. They're up to 7 phases in a row now, though. I'm told to use it again for Mbrodia. Now Yannicka. Oh, that's going to be stolen by the Griquas in the breakdown. No clear release. Hockey and rugby are spiritual brothers of sports, says Big Rig. Okay, kicking downfield now for the Griquas. Oh, what's the go there? I think George Whitehead has taken the quick tap and booted it downfield just to give the ball straight back to the Pumas on the halfway line. Looks like maybe a bit of an injury here for the Griquas. Number 14 here too. Mart has stayed down. Oh no, now he's back up. So obviously the tactic there was to try and make a whole heap of meters and maybe catch the opposition off guard. Wasn't quite successful. Visaki down into the Griquas 22. Ball sits up. And back across to Hufka. And comes off the side of the boot. Now line out throw for the Pumas. Just seems like at the moment that the Griquas have hardly been out of their half throughout this whole probably 20 minutes of the second half. Of course, the 3 yellow cards have not helped in terms of getting hands on the ball. It's a little bit high coming in there from Mart. We have got there, my father was banned for life for excess violence playing hockey. That's pretty hard to do in Duncan. Surely he was absolutely crazy out there on the rink, or it depends on whether or not it was ice hockey. Oh, they are actually going upstairs for the TMO here. So whether or not this is... Okay, so it was head on head, roughly. It was a bit of a, I would call it a rugby incident. Don't they call that a goon? There's a movie about that, isn't it? I can't remember who plays the guy in it. Right, they're actually going to only go penalty. Hockey player who's part of their role and the teams to beat up the other team. Yeah. I'm going to look it up quickly to find out who played the guy. Who's that bloke? I know his face. Sean William Scott. That wasn't the name I was going to guess. That's apparently who played him. My mum said he was a Heckle and Hyde character, says Duncan. Okay, it's not a high level of danger. They're saying there that they have to deal with it because it's head contact, but it is just going to remain as the penalty. Because at the end of the day, that would have been another yellow card for the Griquas, putting them down to the 13 again. Currently 61 minutes through this contest, 19 to go. The Pumas sitting nicely with the bonus point. Where is the ball, says Sir? It was on the ground and actually was on the sideline, to be fair, but now they have thrown it back. It's sitting about 35 metres out from the Pumas line. And they're going to be able to boot it into touch. No more yellows, says Big Rig. And guess he had a Uno reverse card in his pocket, says Big Rig. Now, 40 metres out from the line, another line out. Chance for the Pumas. We see him rushing him with pure speed there for Mart. I said there it was mainly contact on the shoulder and slid up. Now broken away. The Pumas in number 6. And it would have been Fasanti. The Pumas stuff looked decent on attack at times in this game in terms of just their pods and structure next to the rucks. Seems like those big forwards in the loose trio getting the meters made. Now another big run forward, this time from Kurtzia. Across to the left-hand side. Finds Oswagu. That was a forward pass from the Pumas. Someone in the breakdown just said, "Thank you, sir, appreciate it." So I don't know what that was for, whether or not it was telling a player to get out of there. No comments coming there. No comments coming there, like as in like commentary. But do they get cards in ice hockey? I think you get sent off, but you don't get a card for it. Now moving into the 22 and a knock-on coming from Swanepoel. It now means that the Griquas will have themselves the scrum inside of their own 22, where they have defended not too badly. Venusana, you there? Says these champs. And through, sorry, a typo, says Bruce. I assume they are. Wait, as in like your comments, Bruce, or just comments in general? So the last one that I had from yourself was very long ago, actually. In terms of like a decent while. A terrible Pumas, says Sir Dees. A terrible second half Pumas have been really poor, says David. Which is effectively the same thing. And ice hockey doesn't have penalties. It has different levels of penalties, says Big Rick. It's a little bit of medical attention required. Oh, he doesn't like that. Trying to stretch out his leg. He looks like he's in a lot of discomfort at the moment. I think we've got 2 minutes remaining of the Griquas yellow card, which does mean that if they can get through that 2-minute period without getting another yellow, this is where they actually have to really pour it on. In need of the magic sponge, I think, Nigel Wilds. Says Big Rig Joe. Because the thing is, the Griquas, if they're down by 12, 2 converted tries, and they are actually back in the lead. In this game, they have been in the lead at times throughout this contest. If it wasn't for that late try of the Pumas in the first half, they could have been leading going into the halftime break. My comments took a while. I had to feed the dogs as they don't prepare their own food. Says Bruce, you didn't get those fancy dogs. What's this game? It is a part of the Currie Cup. It is the opening contest. We've got 2 more games of the Currie Cup tomorrow, but we are also going to be covering the British and Irish Lions taking on the Australians. The problem is getting 2 converted tries. Says Big Rig. Yeah. Although both sides have been kicking well today. Now ready to put this one in. The Griquas still inside of their 22. I'll be honest, if the Griquas can come back and win this game, they thoroughly deserve it. Now, passing off to the right-hand side. And we have had 58 points scored throughout this match. Someone's boot fell off. Luckily, it is not the man who was about to go for the kick, though, for Mahoney. And the Sonny Bill Williams turned into a good boxer. I imagine him versus Bacchius in an on-field legal brawl. Is the Bunnings NPC basically the equivalent of the Currie Cup? Pretty much, yeah. So it is the provincial stuff in New Zealand. And then there's also that Ranfurly Shield that gets thrown in there for good measure with the Bunnings NPC. But that one has gone into touch. And is now going to be the chance for the Pumas line-out. I miss seeing full-strength teams in the Currie Cup. We had the Vodacom Cup prior to Currie Cup back in the day. Says Stephen. Yeah, there are a lot of Springbok guys missing, as well as just URC guys in general from these teams, sadly. Like, there's still a lot of young talent coming up through the ranks, though. We get to see quite a few of those under-20 guys get their chance, as well as the Sevens circuit players. Yeah, that's 67 points. What a joke. So, yeah, sir. Also, the laughing face there from Xander. And cheers, Hamish says, Dalmay, no worries at all. But yeah, we got plenty more rugby coming up. in the near future. It is the match taking place tomorrow night between the British and Irish Lions. Or I guess that is tonight for us here in New Zealand, but tomorrow for you guys in South Africa. Barney is part boxer. That's one of the dogs. Says Bruce. Now going back across to the right-hand side. Attack and run forward for the Pumas, slamming him down. Van Niekerk. It's tackled. And about 40 metres out from the line, the Griquas win the penalty and the breakdown again. Who was that who managed to win that one? I want to say it was Airlink, the number 8. Where's the ball, says Sir. It is in the hands of George Whitehead. We'll be kicking it into touch, which will be in a different location from where he's kicking it. He's kicking it from 40 metres out from the line, but now they will be sitting about 34 metres and 24 centimetres from the try line. There we go. A little bit of specificity. You know, that fancy word. But now sitting there, 14 minutes remain. 12 penalties against the Griquas in this game at this point. That's a lot. 8 penalties from the Pumas. They have been far from perfect in this game too. Now throwing this one in, nicely taken, going off to the right-hand side. Now a nice pass. The Griquas sitting 35 metres out from the try line. And now looking for the steal. The Pumas have got it straight back. Van Niekerk again is involved. Is it raining? It is not raining, no. Or at least it wasn't at the start of the game. Well, that looked a bit high from the Griquas. There's a lot, but at the same time, 12 penalties, and the Pumas only scored 35, says Big Rig Joe. Well, that's the thing. They had 3 men down at one point, the Griquas, and they are still doing what I would consider pretty solid. Ideally, we are hoping the Griquas will win, says Bruce. Now kicked him behind. And it does go dead. 1 minute is it? It's currently 67 minutes in. Right, they have got 2 options here for the Griquas. They have the option of the scrum or the 22. I think you're better off taking the scrum. They will make a lot more metres from it in terms of the position on the field. Well, we will go like this and like that as well. Right, they are just having a minute here to try and recover some stamina. And Hogan and Aussie back-to-back hit hard, man. Says Big Rig Joe. And we were hoping the Griquas will win. But the thing is, they still have time. Where's the scrum, says Sir D. So we'll be about 40 metres out from the Griquas line, and they will have the feed. They are just showing the participating teams in the Currie Cup, so no Griffins this year. They are a team that are sadly missing out on this contest. Instead, we do get to see the addition of the Boland Cavaliers. Now, just talking about the other games that are taking place as well. The Lions taking on the Sharks, the Bulls taking on the Western Province. Those 2 games will be definitely ones to watch out for. Marching Man from behind. And knocks him over. Welcome to heaven. Says Blues Nate. Looks like the crowd have piled in quite nicely for this game. Like they're saying that derby taking place. And also a rematch of the final of the Currie Cup, Boland. I might surprise some teams here, Stephen. They've actually got a pretty decent looking side in terms of the players available. So I think that they maybe, I don't want to jinx anything, but they might be competitive in that game up against the Cheetahs, although the Cheetahs, of course, have that little bit more European experience too. Kicked him behind from Whitehead, looking for the 50-22. Will roll about 5 metres out from the line and now wrestling towards the sideline. Great pressure there from the Griquas. When it's Sonny Bill fighting Usyk, he won't be. I know that he'd like to, but nah, it won't happen there. And these type of games happen often in rugby these days. Tons of points, then barely anything. I wonder if match fixing / point shavings happens often in rugby. Don't know. I don't think there's any sort of records of it. I'd like to think that wouldn't be the case. I think it's just more so that as fatigue sets in, sometimes you can just make a lot of mistakes. Here comes the Griquas, though, and they are sitting 3 metres out from the line. That's to try and get something going here. Will be Mahoney, 2 metres out. The Griquas are fully still in this, by the way. If they score now and convert, Could be all on for young and old, but just 1 metre short of the line there for Davids, and a penalty goes the way of the Griquas. The ball, they're going to be 5 metres out from the line. Tried to take the quick tap, and now it's all scrappy because Mahoney got his tap wrong. 28. So we've still got the spoilers, I see. That's nice. So there is going to be a try soon, ladies and gentlemen, as we have been informed. See, ticket prices for the game was 50 Rand adults, 20 Rand kids. I guess it's a fair price there, Xander. And it'll be the New Zealand version of the Pumas and the Griquas, says Stephen. In there too, but popping it off to the left-hand side here. The Griquas 3 metres out, but we know how this one ends. They pass it across in the middle of the field and they go over for their next try. But it's 10 minutes remaining, and they're now down by 7 with a very big chance of getting the job done. Because honestly, like the Pumas, they've had some good moments, but at the same time, they've probably had far too many poor ones. Barker has been a minority challenger to Usyk by one of the organisations. A mandatory. I don't know how I butchered that reading so much. Still anyone's game, says Lilia B. But the number 13, I butchered his name earlier on, but it is Zwalendaba. And that 13 jersey, George Whitehead to line up this shot. And he has missed away to the side. We kind of knew that because we didn't see Werner Sahn say anything. Now we have good there. Imagine if this ends in a draw. Honestly, it could. Still 8.5 minutes, 7 points difference. It's all on in the opening contest. And it's kind of what you want. Like, it's much closer than the games that we saw from the two sides last year. But kicked off now by Vasahi. That's back underway. It's knocked on, though, by the Griquas. And it becomes a penalty in favour of the Pumas. So this is where a 3-pointer could make all the difference. Or you go for the doctor and head towards the corner. Although overall off the kicking tee, Vasaki's been strong today. I wouldn't be surprised if they did back him. But instead it looks like the corner is on the cards once more. A 7-pointer then a draw could be, says Xander. Although they're going for the doctor here. They want the victory. And they don't want to risk letting this Griquas side back into it. How much time is left? At the moment, there is 8.5, or no, in fact, less than that now. So there's 7.5 minutes remaining. Oh, they look like an early engagement from the Griquas. No advantage. Oh, no, now there is. Touch judge was the one who called that one rolling towards the try line 5 metres out. Be careful not to end up with another yellow card here, but backline movement. Van Niekerk, I should say. Now 10 metres out. Good hands from Nico. He's been everywhere. So he's making his way onto the field. Yeah, I'd rather go for the corner, run down the clock. See, here's Big Rig Joe. They have to make sure that they get a try from it, or else they do open up the door for the comeback inside ball. Oh, that's terrible defence. It's straight through for the Pumas. And he scores the try in the number 19 jersey. Pretorius is successful with it. And that should be the game for the Pumas now. JJ, oh no, sorry, it's actually JJ Skeppers who does score it, or Skeepers, sorry. I got me teams around the wrong way. Had to sign out and tune in again because no one else's comments were coming through. Quite strange. Someone else mentioned earlier on that they had that same problem, Bruce, so it might be a bit of YouTube playing up at the moment. Let's go the Pumas, says Lilia B. And Dan Pumas breakthrough. Says a Blues Nate in there as well. And the coverage has just gone to a black screen, ladies and gents. So hopefully that does come back in the relatively near future. That is now the second disruption in terms of the coverage that we've had for this contest. It has been far from a smooth sailing type of match, I would say. Hopefully the two tomorrow are a lot smoother. Do you think Argentina gets mad at the Pumas? No, probably not. I think they'll be fine with it. At the end of the day, like, Argentina actually lost Pumas when you think about it. Whereas this side is I can't even remember what their sponsor's name is. Is it the MRU something? We have got their side spot sponsored by Eskom. And also, we have got their connection problems, says Xander. And let's go Pumas from Lilia there too. Also having issues with my chat, says Lilia. Yeah, so it is a strange one that it has been playing up so much. And 42-28 says I lollipop. So the kick is successful. So what we will do is we will go like this. And we will go like that. Lots of tries tonight. Classic Club Rugby. Solid Pumas. Well done, lads. Says Blues Nate. Yeah, currently we have already had the 70 points scored throughout this one. I think that there is still one more try in this contest. And the thing is, if it is the Griquas who score it, I believe they will get the bonus point from this game. So that'll be what they aim for. Running game. Says Blues Nate. I don't think so, Xander. Says Bruce. And there as well. But we have once again, unfortunately, got the... Sorry for the interruption. And penalty for the Griquas. Says, I lollipop and everything is going down here in beautiful South Africa from time to time. Don't worry, folks. Says Xander. Oh, no. It is now back with 4.5 minutes remaining on the clock, sitting 5 metres out from the try line. I'm back across Mahoney. Pumas defence has left a few gaps every once in a while with a short ball there to Durant. Now another advantage, penalty, and double blow of the whistle. Yellow card this time coming the way of the Pumas for the first time. Well, they've just said the try scorer actually going off the field now. And Skeepers. 4 minutes left for the Griquas. Once again though, 2 quick tries, they're back in it. But they do need it very quickly because only 3.5 minutes remaining. And, oh, this one's going to need to be checked, I believe. See whether or not this is a legal try. Okay, they are just checking to see whether or not the player who scored it was a part of the ruck. If he wasn't, they will once again be within a shot. They are just trying to clear that breakdown. We have got there 15 versus 14 men now. Yep, so we have had 4 yellow cards in this contest. Right, we're going to see it. Oh, he might be counted as the ruck there. Yeah, they've said he's clearly in that ruck, so C4 will not get the try. Thanks for your effort, says Hendrick. Yeah, I do apologise with the fact that it has cut out a couple times from the Sky coverage. Like I said, hopefully it's not going to be a regular thing that does end up happening for the Currie Cup. Okay, so they're saying that he wasn't in a position where he was able to pick it up. So in which case, she's going to be no try. Okay, so it will be a penalty against the Griquas. So it will be the last chance, or at least it will be the last chance of getting back to draw. One more try could still be on the cards, though, for that bonus point. But offside, I'm just going to have a very quick look here. 24, 26, 28 now for the Griquas. So they have scored 2 extra points each time that they have met up against the Pumas in their last 3 outings. Unfortunately, though, they still needed quite a few more to be able to get the victory here. But perhaps the next time that they play, it will be 30 points. And keep on working up from there. Doing great, Aaron. Thanks for the comp. Says Blues Nate there, but 3 minutes remaining. It will be the Pumas line out. And game review, not bad for the start to the comp. Says Lilia B. Yeah, I think that both sides, you know, they've had their good moments. Yes, there's been a few scrappy moments, and of course that ill discipline of the Pumas hasn't helped them one bit. Or sorry, of the Griquas. The Pumas have maybe not quite handled the ball as well as they would have liked to, and I think that the Griquas have actually been the better side when it came to those breakdown steals. But definitely a foundation to build on now for these two sides moving forward. Now, it's going to be a scrum feed now for the Griquas. as he was told to use it there, Brodia, and he did not. Man of the match, says Eric. Ooh. I think that Visaki's had a relatively solid game in that 10 jersey. Swart's probably up there too, the hooker for the Pumas. Like, I wouldn't say he did too much wrong throughout this match. Engelbrecht's been busy, but I don't know if he'd get man of the match. Score now still 42, still 42, yes, with just the 90 seconds remaining. Do you think these teams will be able to compete against New Zealand and Australian sides? Says Stephen, as in like their provincial teams, or you're talking Super Rugby? Because, of course, very different competitions. In that regard, another penalty this time going the way of the Pumas. They are not happy, as the referee was slightly in the way around the side of the scrum. 22 reserve of Pumas was good, says Eric. He was absolutely everywhere throughout this game, Van Niekerk. So I would say he's almost done enough to earn himself a starting spot for the next game. My tablet and Andy's phone have got completely two different numbers watching, says Bruce. Man of the match is a ref, worked up a sweat of arm exercises with all the cards, says Big Rig Joe. Now the Griquas will have to defend for the last 50 seconds. We do see a change now for the Pumas. It will be Russell Federicks. He will be annoyed because at the end of the day, he's going to get 25 seconds. He might get to make a pass here, though, with the rolling maul of the Pumas. In fact, yes, he will be just about touching the ball now for the first time in this match. Passes away to the left-hand side. What kind of impact can the youngster bring for this contest? Now going away to the right-hand side. Couple Pumas guys pretty slow to get back up to their feet. Now Fredericks, quick hands from Willie Engelbrecht. Goes on the outside to Fouchier. Short ball again. Now slowly moving for Maritz, 20 metres out from the line. Now back across to the left. Little cross kick attempted from Visaki, running onto it. Beautifully done. And a lot of pace shown by Adonis. And that will be the last try of the match for the Pumas. They all but bring up the 50 points. But with some pure wheels and pace out there on the wing, Darren Adonis does get the try, maybe. We are just hearing a little bit of the TMO, and Pumas getting ready for the championship. Says Masihu there. But nicely taken. That is the try yet again for this Pumas team. Congrats to the Pumas. Yeah, a solid bonus point victory. Puts them in a good position on the table. A couple other games might be a little bit closer throughout this weekend. Griquas left it too late, but the scores of previous games indicated Pumas are stronger. Says Xander. And subscribe, thanks for mate, good fun. Says David, I do appreciate you being here. Like I said, technical difficulties don't normally occur as often as they did throughout this contest. We had patches where there was no commentary. We had patches where they had it from a wide, like, cinematic and angle that we were watching it. But yeah, it was a good game overall. I do think that both sides, like I said, there will be things that they want to work on from here, but also, a decent start to this Currie Cup competition. But nonetheless, next live stream that we have got will be the British and Irish Lions taking on Australia in the second test match that is taking place tomorrow for you guys in South Africa at, I believe it is lunchtime at 12 p.m. And then for us here in New Zealand, that is a 10 p.m. kickoff. So be sure to stick around for that. Also, some more Currie Cup tomorrow. Western Province taking on the Bulls, as well as hopefully Lions versus the Sharks too. But I do thank you all very much for being here. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And I will see you all for the next.